Good evening to everyone participating in this conference in person and virtually. First of all, I would like to thanks to Nepali academics in America, especially Professor Sushil Adhikari, for inviting me to share my experience and thoughts in the solid waste management and bioengineering session of this conference. My name is Jundiraj Pathak, and I do university teaching and research as my passion, and mostly involved in consulting sector in the field of geoenvironmental engineering and integrated waste management uh, for research, policy, and design in both national and international level. Currently, I'm associated with the Engineering Study and Research Center and the visiting faculty in Tübingen University, as well as I'm currently working as independent waste management specialist in World Bank and all the different organizations. Today, I'm going to talk on waste management problems in the Municipality of Nepal, key issues, and the way forward for the sustainability. The primary objective of the waste management is to protect public health and the environment, but nearly 1 million people die every year globally due to the poor waste management, especially in the low-income country, including Nepal. And the waste sector accounts for nearly 5% greenhouse gas emissions, mostly methane from open dump site. And in the municipality of Nepal, more than $30 per ton. This is more higher for Kathmandu Valley's municipalities. It's around $62 per ton is spent on waste management just for shifting the problem from one place to another and collect and dump without investment in waste management infrastructures. But interestingly, the Constitution of Nepal guarantees the clean environment as a fundamental right, but it provisions no federal and provincial waste management unit in place at present, and all the waste related responsibility goes to the local governments from drafting policy, legislation, as well as designing and investing in the infrastructures and day-to-day operation. And in this context, the question is, are the municipality ready to bear this constitutional responsibility and ready for paradigm shift in waste management to make system financially sustainable? This is the current practice, what we are doing in the different municipality of Nepal, the open dumping at the roadside or open space and river bank, and then canal is very common. In Kathmandu's 50% of the 15% of the municipal solid waste is still uncollected. But in the other municipality, the collection ratio is far less, which is less than 50%. In Kathmandu, nearly 3 million tons of municipal solid waste from the Kathmandu Valley's municipalities disposed in Sistol dump site, which is about 20 kilometers far from the Kathmandu. For more than 14 years, it was initially designed as a sanitary landfill and operated for 2 years, but later it turned it into the highly vulnerable dump site, causing land, water, and air pollution. And such a dumping practice is common to the other municipalities also. In terms of data, we have the 293 municipality, and 293 municipality generates nearly 6,000 tons per day municipal waste, and Kathmandu Valley's one generates around 25% of the total municipal solid waste. Not only increasing the waste, total waste, but also the per capita waste is also increased over years. A large waste fraction is organic in the municipality of Nepal, but changes with respect to our degree of urbanization and the consumption behavior of the people. Just two figures indicates how the waste fraction vary in the old and more urbanized municipality as compared to the less urbanized and rural nature's municipalities. Not only change in the waste fraction from one municipality to another municipality or from urban to the rural area, but also change over the time. Just one example you can see here, how the waste, organic waste decreased from 71% in 2013 to 57% in the Biratnagar metropolitan city. At the same time, the plastic fraction is increased from 12% to 17%. And the sanitary pad and diapers was almost very negligible in 2012, but it was around 5% in the household level waste in 2020. And in the right side figure indicates how the different types of the waste changes from source at the point of generation to the transfer station and the landfill side or the processing side because of the leakage at the different stages. And the important thing is accurate waste generation data is very important for the design of any ISWM infrastructures, including deciding for either the centralized or decentralized plant is applicable for depending upon the type and degree of urbanization of the city. And waste characterization data, not only composition, but also calorific value, chemical and mechanical properties of the waste is very important for the selection of the technology and for the selection of the disposal techniques as well as the design of landfill site. And not only problem in waste generation, waste data, or for the implementation of the plan, there is a serious problem in the people's understanding towards the waste. The few people's thinks the waste as a highly profitable business, which make the confusion to the municipal authority. And most of the people thinks is the waste needs to be dumped somewhere, but not in my backyard because it is the municipality job. And the key issues and the key problem is the people's perception is not translated to the behavior, and the NIMBY syndrome of the people's greatly affected the municipality to identify the land for any waste management facility. And the not action talking only, this NATO behavior is a very common to the general people, to the policymakers, and needs to be changed. And before regarding these issues related to the data, related to the public's awareness level or their perception on the waste, there are several waste management initiatives have already done over the last 30 years. Several pilot project is implemented. There are so many technologies already introduced, and waste reduction at source is one of the best example how to household level composting is greatly help to manage the waste at the source. This diagram indicates that this fact. And but the problem is not technology, but the technology is not scale up and not customized to address the site-specific solution, but we just copy and paste from the other part of the world, and we also overlook the waste characteristics and the overall picture of the society and the institutional and financial capacity. And also we never followed the integrated approach. That means we never parallelly intervene the capacity building initiative and the investment in infrastructures. As a result, we never get the sustainable solution in the municipality of Nepal. And not only in technology and capacity building initiatives is conducted in the past, but informal sectors also greatly contributed the waste management in the municipality of Nepal. In Kathmandu Valley, around 20% of the dry recyclable materials are being recovered every day from the municipal, from the informal sectors. It is increasing trend, which was about 100 ton per day in the 2005, has increased to 350 ton per day in 2021. And this monetary value of this recovered material is estimated to Nepalese rupees 3,700 millions for years. But this is not a sustainable solution. That means the informal collection is like cherry picking, and we need the formal efforts for formalizing the current workforce, developing the recycling friendly policy to encourage the private sector for the investment in the recycling industry. Just the trading of the recyclable materials without investment in the recycle industry is not a sustainable solution. And there are a lot of value-adding activities for the recycling process is going on from the informal and the private sectors in the different part of the country. You can see here how the compaction and shredding and making the flakes and the granules of the plastics to make to sell for the recycling industry can be see in this. There are several examples in this slide from the different part of the country, and not only in informal and private sector. Some initiatives have been done from the municipal level also. Some Walling and the Dhankota could be a good example how they use they followed the integrated waste management system, from segregation of source waste at source, separate collection and transportation, and sorting of recyclable, and to add the value for the recycling process in the material recovery facility, and introduce the service charges to run the waste management facility. There are so many examples they are doing, and in the Dankuta, they are not managing the waste, but making money from the waste also, and how the old dump site is converted to the good garden can be an example in the Dankuta. And not only municipal solid waste, there are several positive initiatives is going on in for the treatment of the infectious waste. You can see one of the good example in the Nepalgans, we have established and successfully operated the common treatment facility for the treatment of the infectious waste from all the healthcare facility at a single place in Nepalgans, and it could be one of the good example and can be replicated to the other municipality also. There is also scaling up in technology and have developed as a waste entrepreneurship in these days. We have several waste to energy plant with the capacity 30 to 50 ton per day, with the support from AEPC and partly support from the municipality also in few places. But the issues of the sustainability is still questionable due to the poor feasibility study, and most of the existing plants are running in the under capacity. And in the true sense, we were talking about this public-private partnership, but this is in the true sense, this is not a public-private partnership. That there is a seems the lacks of the municipal support for providing the land, providing the quality municipal solid waste, like source-sorted organic waste, and the policy for the optimum use of the recovered product, as well as there is a very limited research for the codization, for the proper utilization of the feeding materials from the different organic waste, like fecal slough, municipal solid waste, agriculture, and animal waste, and how they mixed to get to increase the quantity and quality of the output product. These types of study need to be done to be carried out to make the sustainable sustainable of the such a large scale biogas plant. And a few steps how we can improve the waste management in the sustainable way. We have a lot of legislation or guidelines or policy already in place, but the problem is the implementation. We need to a strict implementation of this existing policy, act, and legislation. And we need to follow this waste management guidelines, guiding principle. The first, at least the three major components have to be addressed. The first is polluter space, and the polluter space is not only sufficient. We need to introduce the extended producer responsibility for our new legislation to make the responsible to the manufacturer also, and waste management hierarchy have to be followed strictly. And in the context of Municipality of Nepal, the waste management hierarchy is not only sufficient, but we need to follow the waste management hierarchy and the planned transformation of the open dump to the sanitary landfill site for the gradual improvement in the waste management. And at the same time, we are just following the collect and dump, the shifting the problem from one place to the another, but not following the integrated waste management component in terms of operational component as well as institutional, financial, and regulatory framework. Therefore, this ISWM component, ISWM system needs to be followed for the sustainable operation of any waste management system in the Municipality of Nepal. And we have already several technology introduced in Nepal, but the problem is the customization and scaling of, and the problem is scaling of, as well as just the copy paste and not a site specific solution is introduced. And another major problem is, which is mandatory, like source aggregation is mandatory for the use of any technology for this sustainability. And for selection of a technology, waste management hierarchy and sustainability principles should be clearly considered. And as a and in addition, the realistic plan with doable targets is mandatory for the sustainable for the successful implementation of the any waste management plans. And we have identified the four major components needs to be improved for the sustainable waste management system in the Municipality of Nepal. The first component is service, waste management service improvement, including institutional and policy reform. The second component is investment in ISWM facility and infrastructures. That one of the completely missing component is investment in the infrastructures related to the recovery and treatment facility, which needs to be invest. And we have to also replicate the common treatment facility we have already introduced in the Nepalgan to the other municipality, depending upon the size and number of the healthcare facility. And the third component is capacity building, behavior change, and the knowledge transfer is the very important component for the waste management. Till date, we are just either we are doing the capacity building initiative or only investment in infrastructure. But for the successful implementation, success for the sustainability of the any waste management system, we need to parallelly work in the both for the capacity building initiatives and investment in the infrastructures. The final component is waste management performance, measurement, and management. That means we have a lack of data, we have a lack of research. Therefore, the research and data management is very important for evidence-based planning. And based on if we plan the develop the plan based on accurate data, then it is successfully implemented. And finally, we need to develop, draft, and regularly update the national municipal level strategy and implementation plan. And finally, whatever be the technology policy we have available, if there is no political willpower, a vision, and confidence, the waste management problem never be solved in any municipality of the Nepal. And this is one of the serious concern or serious lacking part in the municipality of Nepal at present. And another important thing is waste management should be recognized as a urban infrastructures like road, water supply, and sewage, and with realistic and targets, and extending the collection efficiency, collection coverage to the whole city or the whole municipality needs to phase out the open dumps and have to be replaced with at least by the engineer landfill site. And you have to implement the 4R, reduce, reuse, recycle, and recovery of resources into different form with the mandatory segregation of at source. And we need the investment in the integrated waste management facility, especially for the recovery and treatment infrastructures, with improvement in scaling of the technology, for customizing the technology, and not imperfect copy of waste management technology to get, but instead, but we need to customize for the site specific solution. And we need to develop the regional facility to both for landfill as well as the treatment facility to reduce the cost, as well as to promote the waste entrepreneurship and to attract the private sector to make the business with the proactive participation of the all stakeholders. Not only public-private partnership is sufficient for the waste management project. We need people, public and private partnership, because the people generate the waste. They need to segregate the waste at source. They need to pay the service charge to make the waste management system sustainable. And we have to introduce the extended producer responsibility for managing the emerging type of the waste, and single-use plastic and low-grade plastic, as well as the different type of the hazardous waste, to make the manufacturers responsible. And we need the education, incentives, and enforcement of law should be together implemented for the sustainable waste management system in the municipality of Nepal. Thank you very much.